the piano.
The piano parts, yeah, man.
Let me see. That. By the way, the composer of the Silent Hill soundtrack is a guy named Akira Yamaoka. I know, yeah. Akira Yamaoka. Whatever you say like that is right. Akira Yamaoka. Yeah, man. I would elaborate on that soundtrack more, but you know what? Let me see if I can find.
You know what's cool?
We're talking about the Resident Evil game, not from the. See, that's what.
No, yeah, I know. Yeah, you can't help but you always have to say the game, not the fucking movie. The game.
Let me see, and I hope they don't give me anything from. Let's see. I hope they don't give me anything.
You probably have to type in Resident Evil game.
Let me see.
Oh, God, yeah, that's some fan-made shit. You know what's cool is that when I was over there hanging out with the Madness Hour guys, the creep, one of his guys ended up leaving and left him his CD collection, and he gave it to me. And it had this guy, his name was ADD Dan, but he had every Silent Hill soundtrack. He had 1, 2, 3. Yeah, I think he even had 4. There you go.
Oh, that's the beginning of the game where it's action-packed.
Yeah. But yeah, I have all those Silent Hill soundtracks.
Let's see. Oh, there it is. The part you talking.
Right there.
Yes. And you see, and a lot of people say, what disappoints you about the Resident Evil movies? And if you remember, you know, Resident Evil 1, 2, and 3, they had very lonely sounding music in it. It's very quiet. I mean, listen to the music to Resident Evil 1. You talk about piano music. See if you remember this from the first Resident Evil. Oh, there's somebody about to play it on. I thought this was gonna be the fucking music. Well, let's see if we can get this guy to do it.
He probably can do it.
But it was that kind of music, you know, it's like quiet music like that. You know, Resident Evil now, the movies, they got like this big electronic music soundtrack and loud
Manson
and
doing the soundtrack.
Yeah, and
I'm a fan of Marilyn Manson, but you know, I don't know, that type of movie. Well, you know, no, I take it back. If that movie were shot the way I wanted it to be, which is kind of like filmed like a haunted house movie with zombies, you know. His soundtrack would have no place. Marilyn Manson's soundtrack would have had no place for that film. But the movie that they did make, I think it did work because it was another movie. It was more of an action movie than anything.
Well, it was more of an action movie, but I wanted the game. The game is cheesy, all right. The game is the voice acting in it is terrible.
Yeah, the first
the
game
dialogue
is really
is written really bad.
Yeah.
But one of the things they got right is like when you just roaming the Resident Evil game takes place in a huge mansion. And when you're roaming that mansion, you're spending a lot of time by yourself and usually being hunted down by these creatures or zombies. Mm-hmm. And it's a very lonely feeling, and they have music that reflects that. So I was expecting a movie that kind of reflected the atmosphere of the game.
Yeah, and we didn't get that at all.
No, I mean, not, you know, and I guess it's the series is taking on a life of its own. It's not a horror movie. It's an action series now. It never was a horror movie.
Nope.
Yeah, so I was kind of disappointed because I was expecting to be not just, you know, really downright scared, but at least creeped out or had some feeling of dread.
Because the thing is that the real memorable thing about Resident Evil is that it was, at least for me, and I'm sure for you, it was the first game that I think we ever played where we were honestly scared about playing. Like, it was creepy.
Yes.
Play by yourself in a dark room. I had a friend that had to put that game down. He just could not play that by himself. Period. And he's just a grown ass man. He's like, dude, I would say, dude, have you played Resident Evil 2? or 1. He's like, I can't play those games. Why? He's like, because they creep me the fuck out, man. I cannot play them at night, and that's the only time I can play video games. So I just can't do it. And he was dead serious, you know.
I can understand me trying to play Silent Hill at night, and I purposely did this. I mean, there was one night I cut off all the lights, no one was here, and this is years ago, and I played the game, and the game. I mean, the game made me look over my shoulder. I'm not a superstitious person, you know. Right. I don't believe in a bunch of supernatural shit or anything like that, but I love having my head messed with, and you know,
pussy.
What can I tell you? It's a weird, it's a weird thing to me to know, like,
it is.
I don't believe in a lot of this stuff, but yet something can mess with me to make me look over my shoulder when I know nothing's there. Mm-hmm. I mean, it just doesn't. It doesn't make sense to me to believe in anything supernatural roaming around this house. I know it's not that. I know, to me, it's impossible.
Like I was telling you today, it's just like little things like that, especially when it affects you like a video game, because you think about it like, video game, whatever, I'm in control of that shit. You know, well, why should that be scary at all?
Yeah.
But, you know, when it's done right, like Resident Evil, I will never forget the first moment I actually had a jump scare that scared the fuck out of me while I was walking in a hallway. And you see these big windows, you don't think anything of it, you're just walking, then all of a sudden something fucking comes crashing through. And my controller fucking had that dual shock thing going on, and I was like, oh fuck, you know, I just had no idea. It scared the fuck out of me. I was like, wow. That's all I said for about 2 minutes. Wow, this game has done its fucking job. You know, this game was worth every penny.
See how lonely that music is?
Lonely right now.
Let me give you a hug. Get the fuck off.
Yeah, man. I love that though.
Yeah.
You know, sometimes, this music would come on when you're going through your cache of shit that you have.
Yeah.
You know, you're reloading your gun.
Yeah.
Sometimes I would spend like 30 minutes in this room just to listen to this music play.
Oh, it's great, man. Like, you know, it's a lot.
Taking me back, Coy. You are taking me back, buddy.
Oh no, I used to love, man, this. I love video game music in general. You know, I still don't think it's like fully appreciated, but these soundtracks, I think people should take a cue on what to do to make their movies scarier, because a lot of people, they're required a little bit more in video games, if they've done right, to actually make the player feel like they're immersed in whatever's going on, including the horror of a game, especially if it's a survival horror game. And
these guys got it right.
Yeah, and you need music to reflect that. A lot of times you're going alone in these games, there's no one else around. You don't need crazy fucking music blaring, you know, you don't need a rock soundtrack. You need very subtle tones, noise, and very quiet, moody music like this.
And it blows me away to think that, you know, half these directors who claim to be hardcore gamers, you know, and they go and they make their own video game movie based on a property, how they can never get that right. It's like, okay, you guys are playing the same game I was playing. Did you forget about how creepy that fucking music was? And why aren't you going after that composer and actually having him compose some shit for this movie that you're doing based off this game?
I'm sorry, Paul W.S. Anderson doesn't, when he says he's a fan of these games, he doesn't get it.
Not at all. No, not at all.
No.
He's a fan of. I think he's more of a fan of watching games than playing them.
He's a fan of whatever looks cool.
Yeah.
He's not a fan of these games. I'm sorry. Not in the true sense of I tried to represent these games in their truest form. Mm-hmm. You know, man, I'm creeping. I feel lonely. I feel like I'm scared right now. I got to lighten the mood a little bit, man.
Yeah. Let's do something to. Yeah, dude.
Let's stay within the same Halloween theme, but let's lighten the mood a little bit. God damn.
Let's cheer it up a bit, eh?
Man, I tell you, there is one thing. Now, is there anything that you could ever think of that reminds you of both Christmas and Halloween?
Oh, I know. This is Halloween. This is Halloween.
You know what? That's
Halloween,
one.
Halloween. But that's not what you're talking about?
That's not what I'm talking about. But, you know, a lot of people forget that The Nightmare Before Christmas can actually serve as a Christmas film, too.
As both, which I like. I like using it as... Because I remember there was last Halloween, I forgot to watch Nightmare Before Christmas, because usually when Halloween's around, I love watching that movie, and I was like, God damn it, I forgot to watch that movie on Halloween, and I was like, oh wait, Christmas is around the corner.
Oh, I can pull it back
I'll
up.
Watch it then, shit. I win.
No, you know what? I forgot that The Nightmare Before Christmas, it can work as a Christmas movie. I mean, I remember I did a review for it years ago, and I guess because a lot of the music in it a lot of the music in it is kind of dark and moody. You know, it's fun, but it's still kind of dark and moody. Mm-hmm. But it can still work as a Christmas film.
Oh yeah.
You know, just I guess most of the movie is set in Halloween world too. But I forgot that's a film that you gotta watch that shit during
Christmas.
Longer now than it seems, in a place that perhaps you've seen in your dreams, for the story that you are about to be told took place in the holiday worlds of old. Now, you probably wondered where holidays come from. If you haven't, I'd say it's time you begun.
No. That's a really kick-ass song too, man.
Is, now, have you heard Marilyn Manson's version of it?
Yes, I have.
I have it on my pages. I love that. I've been rocking it the whole week.
But this is a great Halloween movie, man.
This is.
You know, Tim Burton, say what you will about his movies. I've always admired Tim Burton as an animator. I think the guy has a great visual sense. I mean, he's so unique, man. He's influenced so many people now.
Oh yeah.
You know, I mean, the guy has. Do you remember? What was it? I think his name is Edward Gorey.
What did he do?
He did a calendar where a lot of kids were dying. You know, they talked about like how is. What was it? It was a calendar. It was an illustration, a series of illustrations, and it was kids. Who like it was a nursery rhyme about kids who died in different ways.
Yeah.
And Tim Burton was heavily influenced by that guy, and he brought that same sensibility that guy did very well into this generation.
Oh wow, yeah. But it's amazing, how you can see people who are probably influenced by that one guy. I know there's a comic book called Lenore.
Lenore, yeah.
That's about this dead girl, and it's just the.
I think that guy was influenced by Tim Burton.
Yeah, he probably was, but it's still great. It's still great material if you read it. And yeah, it's pretty much a page out of this Tim Burton world.
But I was watching this, man, and you know Tim Burton. A lot of people think that he directed this. He didn't.
No, he didn't. No.
But it is from a fairy tale of his, and he did all the designs. And this is this is one of those movies where it's not too cute, but it works well for the family.
Oh yeah.
No, man, this is a great film. I forgot that people should watch this for Halloween.
Oh hell yeah! I mean,
when you saw it, didn't it seem like an instant classic?
No, yeah, it did. Like watching it and just listening to the songs, I was like, wow, these songs are catchy and memorable, and just these visuals. It's like everything. It's like when you used to watch Halloween specials on TV as a kid, you always wanted to see something of this caliber. You know, you were always waiting for this, and somebody actually made it. You know?
No, man, you were like, when are people gonna make another holiday classic? Like, you know what Rankin Bass used to do, like with Rudolph the Red-Nosed Reindeer and all that. Yeah, and Tim Burton came back and did it. Plus, you know, this is a time when people thought stop motion wasn't gonna be able to be used that much anymore, much less theatrically. Yeah, it's a beautiful film, man.
It is, man. I mean, I honestly love this film. I recently just bought it on Blu-ray.
You did?
Yeah, and what's great about the Blu-ray is, have you've seen, I know you've seen Vincent, right?
Oh, of course, yeah.
It's finally on the Blu-ray. Vincent's on the Blu-ray as well as
Frankenweenie.
Frankenweenie, yeah. This short film that Tim Burton worked on about this. It's a retelling of Frankenstein, but with a kid's dog, and it's fucking great.
Yeah, no, it's.
But Vincent, I think you can find Vincent on YouTube. That's just I love watching that and listening to it. I almost wish like there was like a longer movie version of it because it's so cool to watch.
Yeah, I remember we talked about this on a show before. If you love The Nightmare Before Christmas, you should see this short that Tim Burton did before he was even famous. It's about a boy that wants to be Tim Burton, and a boy wants to be. A lot of boys want to be Tim Burton. No, it's a boy that wants to be like Vincent Price. And it actually, it's a very, I won't say depressing, but it's like it's not as funny as you think it is. No, it ends up being very dark.
It's very dark, but it's just one of those, like, I guess it's the visuals that really really get me, and just hearing Vincent Price's narration. It's just priceless, man. It really adds to the kind of creepiness and kind of sadness about the story. But I love watching it. It's like one of those films, like I had it on a VHS tape that somebody made for me because I'd never seen it. Somebody put it on a VHS tape for me. And I've always been wondering, like, why isn't this on the same disc with A Nightmare Before Christmas? Because I think it's never been available with the regular DVD. of Nightmare Before Christmas.
Well, you know, I have it on a tape. I still have this VHS tape that I had when I was a kid, where I recorded this show called Animation from Around the World, and it's this guy just narrating about all this animation from different countries. And being that it was on the Disney Channel, this is way before the Disney Channel is what it is now. They show this short, and the guy introduces it. He's like, because he's talking